In the next video, I will be sharing a short story that I've written, but I thought I'll start with some explanatory notes first. There are 3 points that I would like to raise, of which only the first 2 is related to the content and the last one is merely tangential, but I thought it will make for an interesting discussion. First one is there are 2 main characters in the story. I've written the protagonist in a fanciful manner. He has special power or talent, in other words, not very realistic. The antagonist is, however, more probable, like a garden variety type of villain, though powerless to bring about mass physical destruction, but shrewd enough to do damage nonetheless. I thought villains that can be found everywhere is just as frightening as the fictitious sort. Secondly, in the story, I had intended to provide juxtaposition of different opposing conditions or things that are in stark contrast with each other. For example, fictitious or realistic character, actions and decisions of people before and after the villain is introduced, what happens after the problems identified and solved, different motives and intentions. Some parts are highly exaggerated to make a point more relevant, while other parts were picked from my observations from people and their interactions with each other. So I wanted to do a comparative style of writing where one situation is the standard by which you assess another. Okay, so the third point is it relates to something that I've read not too long ago. That is comparison as a means to process information. In other words, objects are perceived or evaluated by comparison with a standard. And this includes social targets, that is, a person comparing himself or herself with another person. This predilection to engage in comparison as a way to process information is innate. It is done so easily and frequently that it is done even if the standards are not necessarily relevant to the object. It's like a shortcut because only a small portion of the information is being processed. Similarities, connections, or relations are compared between the standard and the object, and then evaluating the two using shared characteristics. Standards are usually something about which people have lots of information or have used in the past, with the caveat that important information is not ignored or distorting information is not introduced. It requires fewer cognitive capacities than searching and evaluating information about the object. So, for example, researchers have found that children as young as 4.5 months old use this method to identify similarities between objects, and as they get better at it, they are able to detect less obvious similarities. The use of this method of information processing is evident in analogy, categorization, stereotyping, attitudes, perceiving people, decision making. Obviously, this will work best if standard and object are highly similar. Is this at the cost of accuracy? Not necessarily. I will leave the details of the academic paper from where I got this information in the box below. For now, I give you another example. A direct comparison method is used in the valuation of residential property to determine current market value. Similar properties are used as standards, while necessary adjustments are made to account for the differences, for example, floor level or size. So in summary, when processing information regarding another person, people invariably compare this person to themselves. So when reading the story that I've written, ask yourself, are we closer to the villain in the story or the good guy? So thank you for watching. I wanted to wait for the plane to stop flying, but I feel like it's not going to stop. I don't know why. The plane decides to always fly when I'm trying to record a video, man.